man. Detroit versus everybody, man. Detroit, we rep the hardest, man. We gain the hardest. You know what it is, man. Detroit, CJ, holla at your boy when we get home.
Don't forget to check out our sponsor, The Health Blaze, at thehealthblaze.com. 100% all natural products from lotions, soaps, foot soaks, bath bombs, and much, much more. Use the promo code Goodfella1Boxing. Tell them your boy CJ Goodfella sent you. Get 18% off. We out. All right, AJ. Let me move my... There we go. AJ took care of Kubrat Pulev. I thought he would took care of him a lot easier and a lot better, but that wasn't the case. Let's talk about it. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. And Mason, he watched the fight with me. Didn't you, Mason? You know, he watched the fight with me. He was up here chilling. So, I mean, let's talk about it. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. And early on, AJ was landing some nice punches. You know what I'm saying? When he had a lot of energy, he was clocking Pulev, countering him. He caught him with a nice counter right hand over the top. Pulev was laughing, but when your opponent laughing, a lot of times the punch actually, you know, did some damage. So, I mean, let's talk about it. Check out the heavyweight talk playlist. Check out the fight, post-fight reaction playlist, excuse me. And, yeah, I thought this fight was going to be over in a couple of rounds. I said at the most 7 rounds or 8 rounds. I said at the most just due to the rust. There was some talk that Anthony Joshua was sparring as late as Thursday. For whatever reason that was that to knock some rust off or get some extra rounds in. I don't know. But this girl in the UK named Natasha Jones tonight, whoo, she looking cold-blooded. But other than that, you know, AJ early on, when he had energy, he looked good. He just not a finisher. You know, at least he's not an early finisher no more. And Pulev was 39 years old, and Pulev sat in the pocket with him. That was a crazy thing to me. Pulev was sitting in the pocket with him. You know, Pulev sitting there in the pocket with him. He wasn't no, and really, it looked like it was more than 2 inches of height difference, for sure. And the commentator said that on his own. It seemed like it was like 3 or 4 or 5 inches of height difference. Maybe I'm exaggerating. But Pulev really sat in that gray area, and that's the pocket. He didn't operate. You know, for Pulev, he landed some punches down the stretch. Joshua should have knocked him out. Pretty sure he had somewhat of a reach advantage, hand speed advantage. He had a better punch variety. You know, Joshua just really played his safety first. You know, he was just boxing and throwing a couple punches, and his output wasn't high enough in the beginning, in my opinion. And really, it just seemed like he was just trying to knock some ring rust off, possibly. But to be honest, he should have obliterated this opponent in 4 or 5 rounds. And Pulev, and when like Pulev was running, Pulev was right in his face. He was in the pocket where, you know, he was meant to really get knocked out at. He challenged Pulev to sit there. Pulev challenged Joshua to really operate and get him up out of there. And Joshua just didn't throw the flurry. Was it him not testing his stamina? Is it him wanting to get rounds in? Or is it he just not going to, you know, overwhelm you like a Crawford and get you out of there? And that's my question. Oh, the camera just keep wanting to do his thing. That's my $1 million question. Do we, honestly, can he get guys out there early on? Or can guys go in there knowing that AJ is not going to knock him out early on? And can they go in there with a whole bunch of confidence? And can they make him fight? And if you do press him, is he going to fight back? Is he going to pick up the output? Or is he going to get tired down the stretch? Now, he was about, what, 4 pounds heavier for this fight than the Reed's fight. And it showed. In this fight, he still got too much muscle on. And I think his stamina was getting tested, even though Pulev wasn't doing much. And Pulev might have won 1 round. And that 1 round, maybe it was like the 7th, 8th round, whatever it was, 6th. You know, Pulev started throwing, and Joshua was there to be hit. So Joshua just was a little bit too heavy. I like seeing him around the 235, 230 variety. He was a little bit too heavy, but still, he had explosive hands. His hand speed was still good. You got to ask him. He's doing an interview right now. Did he try to get him out of there? Did he try to take him rounds? Who knows? And Pulev was just sitting there waiting to get pummeled. They said Vladimir Klitschko hit him with left hooks and dropped him both times. That should have been the punch for Anthony Joshua. And he threw, was it a sweeping left hook? It just looked like in the middle of the rounds, he ain't had no stamina. His mouth was open. He was breathing hard. So I just think he was a little bit too heavy tonight. And then, you know, he got something to think about. If he do fight Deontay Wilder, which he said he is open to fight him, he can stay the weight that he is. Tyson Fury is the fight about the weight, but for Pulev, For Pulev, it's time to hang it up. You know, you done fought Vladimir Klitschko, you done fight Anthony Joshua. You know, Bob Arum was stern that he was going to knock Anthony Joshua out. And you know it. I knew it. We know it. We knew that wasn't going to happen. Pulev just didn't have enough juice in his legs. Pulev was a 39-year-old opponent that looked like a 45-year-old man tonight. He sat there posturing. And what I mean by posturing, he sat there with AJ right in the pocket, daring AJ to knock him out. He wasn't going to really counter AJ. He really wasn't going to hit AJ with a straight right hand. Somebody doing the most for no reason. You know, maybe kids out here. I don't know why people steal the street. He wasn't going to really do much. He landed some shots, you know, every now and again. But Joshua was supposed to take his balls, neuter him, spade him, whatever you want to call him. He was supposed to take his balls. He was supposed to pummel him. Honestly. He was supposed to put his dick in the dirt. It was supposed to be $2 Tuesdays, and Kubrat Pulev was a $2 whole ready to leave at the end of the night. And he just didn't impress me with his ability to finish. And he beat Kubrat Pulev with attrition. He beat him with volume. And then he dropped him, I can't remember the round, third or fourth. He dropped him in somewhere in there. And the ref really could have ended that fight. And I don't think nobody had an issue with it. And he had Pulev turning around looking like Martin Payne against Tommy Hearns on the Martin show. Oh, he coming. The British are coming. That's how he was looking, man. You know, and credit to the referee. He didn't cut it short. He gave the people a show. And Joshua dropped him twice in that round. You know, and Pulev just was able to finish. He ain't supposed to finish that round. But then again, you ask yourself who the best finishers in boxing. You think of Terrence Crawford, Gervonta Tank Davis for the level of opposition he fight. And they don't pay you for overtime. So you got an opportunity to finish guys like that. If you have a Wilder, a Fury, or a Tease, or whoever another top fighter out there is, Usyk, you got to be able to finish them. You have to be able to finish those guys. You can't give a Tyson Fury a second chance. We've seen Steve Cunningham put him on the canvas. You give him a second chance, he getting off the canvas, and he bringing it. You know, Deontay Wilder showed in the Tyson Fury fight he was willing to die in that ring. And his trainer saved him, whatever you want to say or not. But with AJ, you just question if he got the killer instinct. You question the weight, issue. And you really question, he really struggling versus old men. You can say this about any heavyweight today. What if, he had to fight some of the guys that never got titles, Shaver, Norton, David Tua. You put a James Toney in there in the heavyweight title. Sam Peters, could he beat some of those dudes? You ask yourself, some of them dudes was in the wrong era. Put Norton in, you put Shavers in. You put Gary Cooney in there, shit. Even maybe Joe Louis, even though there's a weight differential, you put them in there, they dominate. They're David Tua dominate today. Even a guy like Evander Holyfield dominate today. So, you look at Joshua, his best punch is the uppercut. But then again, he kind of got some Shane Mosley in him. When you talk about Shane Mosley was tight. Shane Mosley was more jittery than Joshua, but he was tight. And it take them some time to loosen up and let their shots go. And when you tight, a lot of times you using up energy that you shouldn't be using them. Shane used to come out tight, jittery. That was Shane. Joshua just come out tight, and I think it's anxiety or whatever it is, or butterflies. I think he can go extra 2 or 3, 4 strong rounds before he had to get his second win if he just wasn't so tight. But what you notice about Joshua, he's really better on the inside than anywhere else. Joshua is a guy that's supposed to really plummet you with that size, the muscles, and the ability to uppercut. I think he's a better inside fighter. And if he do get in there with a Tyson Fury, I think his best bet is to get on the inside and shoot that uppercut. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he got Pulev out with. He got him with 2 uppercuts. He caught him with a big counter right hand. His best punch is that counter right hand, that straight right hand on the button like he just landed on Pulev there, and them uppercuts. And I just think if he loosen up early enough, in the fight, I think he can have a 2 or 3 extra rounds before he get tired. But his mouth was open at some point in this fight. And when you're talking about fighting, which it ain't too many more upper echelon fighters out there, Wilder, Ortiz, and Fury are the ones out there. If you do care about fighting those guys and unifying, he got to fix the weight. And then the weight is an issue when you talk about Tyson Fury, because he going to be 285 and he can carry it. Talking about Anthony Joshua, do we go up higher? And then we seen with Wilder, he put on extra 10 pounds, 15 from the first fight, excuse me. And he lost. Maybe you should have stayed lighter. But then again, talking about fighting Tyson Fury, the question is, what weight do you come in at? Do you stay at 240? Do you go down to 230 and be lighter? But then again, just because somebody heavier than you, it don't make them stronger than you. So do Anthony Joshua feel strong at 237, 235, 230? When you fight Tyson Fury, for him, I think for him it's going to be closing the gap. I would tell him to fight Tyson Fury in his chest. Sucking on his titty, as Nate Campbell would say. Shout out to him and his channel, The Galaxy Experience, and shout out to Lion Killer Podcast. He co-hosts on there as well, too. And I would tell him to be close to Joshua. To be close to Fury. Work the body, work them uppercuts. I would tell him not to give Fury no space. And Joshua shown down the stretching fights, even with Klitschko in the middle of the fight, when he get on the inside, he can end it with the uppercut. So all you really got to do is understand, get on the inside, work the body a little bit more, how to get on the inside jab. And that's how, if you fight Tyson Fury in the pocket or from outside, you're going to lose. His best bet is to get in, take away their space, kind of weave in, and fight him on the inside. And really, you talk about him beating Pulev, and maybe you say it's a rush, but I expect him to get Pulev out of there faster than that. Honestly, I don't think the Pulev didn't lose because so much of the class of AJ. He lost because he got hit, and he also lost simply off the strength of just fatigue. You're 40 years old. So what happens when AJ get in there with somebody like Fury that ain't gonna fatigue? Gotta ask yourself the question. That's something that they gotta tweak, in my personal opinion, and that's something that they gotta fix. But other than that, Floyd Mayweather, he did show up. He said he was going to be in the fight shortly. And he showed Anthony Joshua some love. And some Tyson Fury fans are probably not going to be, Deontay Wilder fans not going to be happy. And then we're going to be factual about this. Floyd Mayweather never showed Deontay Wilder love. And I don't know if it was just because Wilder really had power, or just he is a purist boxer and boxing fan, and maybe even he also a purist boxing trainer. Maybe he just didn't appreciate his style, not being able to be a clean boxer puncher or a clean boxer or a clean brawler. Deontay Wilder is a, off platform, unorthodox fighter. And I'm not talking about southpaw. He don't move the best. He don't, punch the best. But then again, some people think Mayweather's jealous because he can really win all those fights just with a right hand and some athleticism, Maybe I think that people can respect Deontay Wilder if they respect him as a two-handed puncher. But then again, he really got one of the nicer jabs in the heavyweight division when he used it. And, obviously after all the excuses and all that. But Mayweather sat here and cried when he fought Ricky Hatton when the MGM Grand Garden Arena, I think it was filled up with a whole bunch of Brits, and said the American fans don't support him like the Brits supported Ricky Hatton and the British fighters. But then again, you turn around and you fight a British fighter. How can you respect that? You really can't. So, really, I think Mayweather is falling out of favor with a lot of boxing fans. And I was a hardcore, Mayweather fan when I was coming out of high school. Just in my teenager, I would watch every fight and buy most of his fights. And the issue is just when he said that basically black people just didn't help him get to where he was at. And I think a lot of people just felt disrespected by that. Because we supported Floyd Mayweather. We got behind Floyd Mayweather. A lot of these brothers, was battling against other fans, calling Floyd Mayweather a coward. And you put all that time, you put all that work in, and then Floyd Mayweather say, "Oh, y'all didn't help me get here." I think there is some disdain, some bad taste in people's mouth about Floyd Mayweather and how he was a hypocrite and he supported Joshua the Brit when he cried about other Brits having more support for their fighters than American had for their fighters. And people call him a hypocrite because he didn't lead by example. And I get it. I ain't really tripping on it. He didn't lead by example. He is a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? He did say all lives matter. We can go on and on and on about what he said and what he's done. So it doesn't shock. I'm not mad because at the end of the day, Anthony Joshua is a proud black man. And that's one thing I can respect about him. Earl Spence is a proud black man. Terrence Crawford is a proud black man. And however their relationships is with Floyd, there'll never be no hoe ass nigga like Floyd. There won't be no raccoon like Floyd. And that's the thing I can respect. I ain't really care for Joshua because I felt that he ducked Wilder at one point in time, and that is what it is. That's subjective to what you want to believe. But when he stood up to those people, when he got them people in his hometown and he was on his crutches, and the white people start saying, I ain't gonna support you, Joshua said, I'm a proud black man, F you. You gotta respect that. So congratulations to Joshua tonight. He did what he had to do. I think it took a little bit longer than people thought, but knocked out Pulev in 9, if my memory serves me correctly. I think Mason, he tired, man. Mason, he just don't care, do you, boy? Hey, I appreciate y'all, man. You see Mason collar. Y'all see the chain. Y'all know we repping. Any Ohio State fans out here, you know we repping, man. But I do appreciate everybody for checking in. Don't forget we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We also got a Facebook group. If you ever reach out, you want to advertise your business on the channel. You want to chop it up, video request, whatever it is. Twitter's the fastest way. Then Facebook, then Instagram. Check out the Facebook group. You want to share your videos, just chop it up there. You want to make a donation, Cash App CJ Good 313. That's in the description. PayPal link in the description as well. Appreciate the love, support. Me and Mason is gone. Peace.
Belief about
I'm on the phone.
You on the phone?
Yeah.
You looking at my baby?
No, I ain't looking
right?
at him. I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, man. Next time we come outside, don't be staring and shit like that. I don't like that.
I wasn't looking at him.